All right, everyone. The other day, you had all sorts of glitches happening online. Like for the last week or two, you've had this happen a lot. YouTube's had now two rounds of like glitchy days. About 2 days ago, I think it was, for about an hour there, it was touch or go. I kept getting errors or certain things wouldn't load, like the sidebar. Then Facebook and Instagram yesterday were out nearly worldwide. Like most users couldn't access, especially Facebook. And I was thinking to myself, as both being Zuckerberg related, the fact that they went out together, probably not a coincidence, number one. Although people, for some reason, a lot of people don't even know that Instagram is a Zuckerberg asset. They think it's still an independent website. By the way, you should definitely delete your accounts on both of those unless you've got a compelling reason. Otherwise, like a business brand, you have no choice but to manage. And like, well, this is my living. I have to have the page here. Like, I have to have a Facebook fan page or else somebody else will just make one and call it official. It'd be a bit of a problem, but I don't do anything on my actual account. It's like Facebook's no longer fun. It's like Facebook has people's grandparents on it. At that point, you know that a website is maybe no longer on the cutting edge. But then Zuckerberg's also had his own problems, and here's my thing. I was hoping Facebook and Instagram would just fucking get knocked out by hackers or something and stop existing. Like everything there is just wiped off the face of the earth. Zuckerberg's like, shit, I have to rebuild everything from the ground up. I guess I'm not going to be one of the world's richest people after I buy all those servers and stuff. That's what I keep hoping. I think it'd be the best thing for the world if it happened. Think of it this way. That data is being stored and repeatedly sold in bundled batches for the purpose of multinational corporations, probably the surveillance apparatus here and elsewhere, and to foreign states that in some cases are major violators of human rights or state sponsors of terrorism. You had, I think the other day, wasn't there a story, there was a 16-year-old, their Sudanese family auctioned her off on Facebook, and they didn't have a problem with this. Like, oh yeah, buy our daughter, because, it's culturally acceptable. Then I gotta talk about fucking Jack Dorsey later, and what he did when he was, I guess he was, meeting with some Hindus, and he criticized the caste system, and now he's apologized as well. Oh, this was meant to be a private picture. I'm sorry that I criticized this fucking caste system of yours because it's so sacrosanct. I'm not allowed to criticize any culture but my own because people are just such fucking special snowflakes. Zuckerberg, meanwhile, is still, and he's like, damn it, Jack is finally, he's the shitpost king, basically. He's the one who's destroying his site faster. What can I do? I'll just have another major outage on my sites. I'll make it look like we're having physical problems in managing Facebook and Instagram. It probably is at this point, when you're hemorrhaging users off one and having massive new numbers of users on the other, it's like a little bit of a transformative phase, I think. How much is Facebook's stock down year over year, by the way? How much value is it lost? It's in the tens of billions. It's an enormous amount of money. I think it's more than Twitter's lost, actually, by now. Because they had another off day. I think Twitter slid a little, a few days ago. Facebook collapsed again. How much value do you have to lose before you say, okay, basically the only purpose of Facebook at this point, the active side of the site should go, the way of the dinosaur. The only reason I think he's even keeping it open is that so he has some sort of justification for archiving and continuing to sell all the bundled data he grabbed from everyone for a decade. That's really the only reason I think the active Facebook itself is even there. Nobody uses it for news anymore. Nobody a few years ago. Think of it this way. People used to send me videos, and not just on Facebook itself, but they would send a Twitter DM or even YouTube message for a while there until that went kaput. They would send me that, or they'd send me posts that were made on pages and be like, hey, ridicule this, or hey, this is thought-provoking, or here's a link to a news article. I saw it on Facebook because it's got a news aggregator, basically. Doesn't happen anymore. I can't count the last time that it happened in the last maybe 6 months, except on the fingers on one hand. I think it might have happened once or twice in the last 6 months. It used to happen every day almost. And I know it's not because of age demographics. I look at my own age demographics, they're a hell of a lot younger than most of the lamestream media sites. So it's not, oh yeah, well, Sticks, your audience is so old, they've stopped using Facebook. They're like dinosaurs. No, bullshit. Facebook's growing old. Nobody uses it anymore. That's the whole point I was talking about. How a large proportion, I think it wasn't it 45% or something, or some crazy number of people in the 18 to 25 demographic had deleted the app. And then the app stores themselves the other day having problems too. It's becoming a little bit suspicious how many of these sites at the same time are having similar maintenance issues. Oh, don't worry, it's routine maintenance. Oh, it's just a glitch. Site's down for a little while. Who cares? Whenever this happens on these sites, it seems to coincide with changes to algorithms changes to site structure or something like that. Like definitely on YouTube, the last time that there was a glitchiness coincided with when my viewership rose. Some people's viewership rose substantially, some of it fell substantially. It totally screwed around with the related videos. I know that, both to the success and detriment of users depending, I think, on tags and descriptions. And it started making people either get all notifications again, it did for some channels I'm subscribed to, or it demoted that content so they almost never see it, which is the case with many other channels that I happen to subscribe to. So it doesn't, I mean, it's obviously, there is a correlation there. It's not a coincidence that those things coincide in the same 24-hour period. I'm sure now, in the wake of this, Facebook and Instagram will change in some measurable way. There may not be a physical change to it, but the algorithms used for search or related pictures and videos or something, or posts you see on some subset of the site, some news aggregate, yeah, it'll change. You watch, you'll see it in the next couple of weeks, and people will either complain about it if they suddenly start doing worse, or they'll applaud it and say, well, the site's so much more functional. They fixed something there with that update, if it's to their benefit. And this always happens, by the way. Like, I haven't noticed, actually, I think in the wake of the latest, whatever changes YouTube's made in particular, in the last couple of, last year basically, it's actually, whatever they've done helps my channel. It actually makes it more searchable or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but I appear in search results more often. All of a sudden, I'm getting almost twice as many views on the content, adding 3 times as many subscribers on a day-to-day basis. And it's not because I'm making more videos. It's not because my setup's changed. The setup is basically the same. It's something algorithmic happened with that latest glitch. But then YouTube was glitchy a couple days ago, so it makes me worry that all of a sudden it's going to change and go in the other direction. And all of a sudden I'm pulling in 10% of the views as before. Some people are saying that that's happened, that it's been draconian for them. I don't know why. Maybe it's because when they upload, they don't fill out the tags. Maybe their descriptions are too lengthy. Maybe they get demoted because, I don't know, how they dress, fucking how the camera shot looks. Who knows what Google's doing now. Facebook and Instagram, though, are way worse. It's like, it was funny. I was talking to Estevel a few days ago when I said, hey, I'm going to stop using PayPal to handle donations processing in protest for how they deplatform BitChute. And he's like, well, why would you do that? There's no need to. It's like, all these other sites demote stuff and deplatform people. Yes, but those sites are actually, number one, interesting, and number two, things I interact with constantly. I don't do that with PayPal. It's just a donation processor for me. And I happen to favor it on eBay, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I've linked my debit card. I'll use that instead. It's just as quick. There's no problem with it at all. There's no other service for which I need PayPal in my life. But I do need YouTube. I'm mainly known as a YouTuber. Despite the fact that I really like alt tech, I'm going to support it, keep putting it all on DTube and BitChute and stuff. It doesn't mean that I'm going to say, well, now I'm big on BitChute now, I'm going to delete my YouTube channel. That wouldn't make any sense at all. It would make literally less than 0 sense. Yes, after a decade of effort, 120 plus million views on the content, let me just erase that because I'm going to protest somebody getting abused. No, it's not going to happen because it's not going to punish them, it's only punishing myself. As far as Facebook and Instagram, fuck them. I've got the Facebook account basically just because I have a brand page. That's basically all it's good for at this point. It's a placeholder. It's, hey, here's where else you can go to actually find what I'm doing because I'm not doing things here. You searched for my name, you know who I am. Go elsewhere. It'd be more fun anyway. That's about all. Peace out.